Okay, hi everyone, and welcome to our class today for 12 October 2021. And just like yesterday, unfortunately, I won't be able to have a live class because it's clashing with my Form 5 class. So, since I can't be with you online, I will be recording a session here, and hopefully, this will help you get through your speaking practice. So, your speaking practice is designed to warm you up for your speaking test at the end of the year. You will have a speaking test, so it's important that we do not neglect any speaking exercises that we have. Today's exercise is going to be from page 127 in your textbook, and we are going to be doing it individually. There is no pair work required today, so you don't need to worry about finding a partner. Okay, but I do hope that you will be cooperating with me. Let's begin. Okay, what are we going to learn today? Today we are practicing ways to describe people, places, and things. After that, we will practice giving our opinions. So, two things that we are going to talk about today. The first one is describing people, places, and things, and then we will practice giving our opinions. So, let's do a little bit of a warm up here. Now, this is taken from the exam close-up in your textbook. I've just put it here so that I can demonstrate for you. So before we do that, let's look at the notes that are given. These are given from your textbook, but let's look through it together. The first bullet point there, now we are going to be talking about a photo. The first one there. Remember to describe the people, places, and things you can see in detail. Imagine you are describing it to someone who cannot see it. So you need to imagine like it's a game, that you are describing it to somebody for them to imagine it in their mind. The second thing is, if you don't know a specific word, don't worry. Try to paraphrase and describe it in a different way. Now, this is a very common thing that happens, especially if you are nervous or you are speaking to somebody that you don't feel comfortable around, or even in an exam setting. Sometimes you actually know the word, but at that moment you forgot. That's completely normal. The strategy is to paraphrase. To paraphrase means to use your own words. Okay, and the textbook tells us to describe it in a different way. So, an example that I can give you, if we look at the picture of these two girls sitting in the grass here, they look like they're hanging out and they're having fun. They probably plan to wear the same outfits on that day. So, let's say we don't know the word for what outfit they are wearing, the overalls. Okay, let's say on that day or in that moment you don't know the word overalls. So what can you do? Well, you can try to describe it. So for example, I would say something like, it looks like a pinafore that secondary school students use. The girls would wear pinafore in a government daily school, but this time it looks like it's made out of the material people wear for jeans. Let's say I forgot the word denim, the material that people use to make jeans. So I have already managed to describe it by what it looks like. Do you see what I did there? So let's try another example with the hats that the girls are wearing. So I might not know the name for that hat. It's actually called a bucket hat. But let's say I don't know that word. I don't know it's called a bucket hat. So I can say they are both wearing hats, and it looks like it's made out of some kind of soft material. It's not a baseball cap, but it looks like a hat that people use to go fishing. So in that way, somebody can already imagine what I'm looking at, even though they might not see it or they don't even know the word themselves. They can imagine the picture in their mind. Now, during the speaking test, you will not have one photo to describe. You will have a series of photos. I believe it is 5 photos, and these pictures tell a story. But for our exercise today, you only need to describe one photo for 1 minute. So it's kind of like a warm-up exercise for you to get used to speaking again. Okay, let's move on to some useful expressions. Okay, this is also taken from your textbook, and these are the things that we are going to practice describing: people, places, and things. So ways to describe people, you can use phrases like she's got, he's wearing, they're smiling, so the action that they're doing, or he's sitting. And from the word smiling, people can guess that they're probably feeling happy. So that is why it's quite good to describe expressions, facial expressions especially, because it shows the feelings of the people in the picture. Another thing to describe is places. This is what we're focusing on today. So places in a photo, there are lots of what can you see in the photo? Is there a lot of something? So there are lots of something in the photo. It looks like so this can be useful, especially when you don't know the word for the thing that you are describing. It looks like a something something. Or you can make it a very simple sentence and say, I can see a blank behind or in front of something. So you are describing the location of things in the picture. Or if you don't want to use the words behind or in front of, you can use the words foreground and background. Background means it's in the further back part of the picture, whereas foreground means it's closer to the front. And as for describing things, let's say you don't know the name of it, you can just say it's a kind of, maybe it's a kind of a book that looks like a book. I think it's a blah blah blah. Or you can use your adjectives. It looks old or new or expensive. It looks big. It looks small. It looks amazing. So you can use your adjectives here to describe things. Or you can guess. If you don't know, you could just say it could be a blah blah blah. So for example, let's look at the picture on the left here, the bottom left. Now we all know this is a unicorn. But let's say on the day or on the event that you somehow, for whatever reason, you forgot the word unicorn. So how would you describe it to a person as if they cannot see it as well? So what I would say is, it looks like a kind of a horse. It's like a horse with a horn in the middle of the head, in the forehead. So it's a horse sitting down with a horn in the middle of his forehead. And he has some really small spectacles, like the kind that old people wear to help them read better. He seems very happy because he's smiling in the picture, and I think he's reading something he enjoys because he seems to be really into it. That's how I can describe the unicorn if I don't know the word unicorn. Now, if we look at the right side of the screen, there's another picture there. Now, I might not know the name of this dinosaur. I don't know the names of all dinosaurs, but it looks like he's trying to pick up something from the floor, but he's unable to. So how would we describe this? I would say they looks like a dinosaur of some kind, or maybe it's a monster. It could be a monster, and it has a lot of spikes going down the length of his body from his forehead to his tail. So he's got spikes on his body. He seems to be very angry because he is frowning and his teeth are out. He looks quite upset there, probably because he's trying to pick up something from the floor, which looks like, I think it's kind of a remote or a phone or something that looks like a device, but unfortunately he can't seem to pick it up, maybe because his hands are really short, so, and his head is really big. So I'm guessing if he were to bend down, he might lose his balance and his head might touch the floor. So that's probably why this strange looking dinosaur is upset. Okay, so you can imagine that if somebody who has not seen this, they can probably picture it in their mind. Right, let's move on. Today's task is very easy. After that demonstration, now you are going to do a little bit of speaking. You are going to choose one picture to talk about in the exam task on page 127. Now, if you look at page 127, there are two pictures in the exam task there. Try to speak for 1 minute. It sounds very simple, but if you don't have any ideas, you can look at the useful expressions to help you develop what you are going to say. Now, 1 minute is the minimum. If you speak more than that, that's fine. Choose one picture to talk about. And then after that, you choose one question to answer in the ideas focus section. There are two questions. The first question is music important to you? Why or why not? And then, do you have to learn a musical instrument from a young age to be good at it? Why or why not? Choose any one of these to answer. And it should be in one recording. So in that one recording, first you will begin by talking about one picture in the exam task, and then you move on to the ideas focus. And this task is done individually. You don't need to find a partner. If you want to prepare, for example, you want to make notes, you can go ahead and do that. If you want to record it several times to make sure that you sound confident and you are happy with the final product, you are more than welcome to do that. Right, now the important part, how are you going to submit? It's very easy. Just send me a voice note either on Telegram or WhatsApp, and make sure you tell me which picture you are describing from the exam task and which question you are answering from the ideas focus. So for example, if I were to do this task, I would start by saying, "Hi, good morning, my name is Alison, and today I am going to begin by describing picture 1 from the exam task. Blah, 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 blah." Once I'm done describing it, then I will move on to the ideas focus. I would start by saying, next, for the ideas focus, I will choose to answer the first question. The question is music important to you? Why or why not? In my opinion, I believe that blah, 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 blah. All right, so it's a very simple task today, but I really hope that you can give a good quality of work, even though it's just a very short speaking task. All right, just send it to me on Telegram or WhatsApp by the end of our class session today. And having said that, good luck.